All right, so you're on the last questions of this reading section. The clock is ticking. You're almost out of time. What are you going to do? Well, great. It's an evidence pair, the most time-consuming type of question there is. Well, you can still do a lot of damage in a little amount of time with these evidence pairs. So it really just comes down to narrowing your focus. And so I'm going to show you just efficiently we can increase our odds a lot here. So let's just look. So authors of passage 2 suggest that the hypothesis described in lines 28 to 32 is. Okay, so go to those lines first and foremost, 28 to 32. What does it say? It says, I'll read kind of all this. Coyote numbers increase, which puts more pressure on lynx via competition for food sources such as snowshoe hares. Therefore, by reducing coyotes in the system, a returning wolf population could indirectly create ecological benefits for lynx. The researchers further hypothesized that because coyotes also prey on lynx, a reduction of coyote numbers by wolves would release predation pressure on lynx. So, lower coyote, release predation pressure on lynx. So releasing pressure is a good thing. So, dumb summary here, lower coyote, more lynx. Let's see what we get. Which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? So we don't know how he would think about that hypothesis, but we understand the hypothesis. So we want something that relates to this in these lines. So 65 to 68. 65, 68. In other systems where wolves, coyotes, and lynx coexist, research shows a positive relationship between wolves and coyotes, whereby coyotes benefit from scavenging on wolf-killed ungulate carcasses. Well, that does not say anything about what happens to the lynx, right? The lynx is briefly mentioned at the top, but it is not mentioned in the meat of the choice where they actually talk about what happens. So nothing new is happening to the lynx. I don't know if it's up or down, right? So that's just wrong. 69 to 72. Here we go. The generally low mortality rates of radio-collared coyotes killed by wolves outside of Yellowstone in northwest Montana is 3 times less than those killed by cougars. Cougars, lynx, coyotes, no lynx. Cougars, coyotes, wolves, no lynx mentioned in those lines. Not good. Probably wrong. So just like that, we're kind of looking at 2 choices at most here, 82 to 84. That is here. Okay. Ripple et al. Speculated that these interactions are in part responsible for the imperiled status of southern lynx. So imperiled status means lynx bad, right? Less lynx. So okay, it's related. I'll keep it. It's 86 to 88. An observation of a single juvenile lynx killed by a coyote in the Yukon is not prima facie at first sight evidence for a trophic level interaction. So, oh my goodness, it's not evidence of a trophic level interaction. We read this passage, we talked about trophic stuff, it's in the blurb, we should know what it's talking about. The presence of a predator decreases the population of its prey, thereby increasing the numbers of organisms at the next lower trophic level. Okay, so this is just saying there's no evidence. So it's talking about the lynx, but it's saying that the lynx was killed by the coyote, but it's just one thing. So, I don't know, no evidence. I'm going to put that. It's related. I don't know if it's going to answer the question because it doesn't really talk about a relationship. It says there is no relationship or that the relationship is unknown. But that's not enough to eliminate the choice. It's still about what we're talking about. Now, the clock's ticking. You might have to guess, but let's see. If you have to guess, at least you've got a 50-50 chance on 52. 51, let's go there. So the author of passage 2 suggests the hypothesis described in those lines is contradicted by anecdotal observations. Well, an anecdote is a story. So line reference D is giving us a story, an observation of a single juvenile lynx. Well, what happened to the lynx? It was eaten by the coyote. What did they talk about here? Coyotes also prey on lynx. So that's not a contradiction. It's saying the same thing, that the coyote will eat the lynx. So no, it's not a contradiction. It's valid for many populations, but not for all. Well, they didn't make that kind of distinction. They didn't say in either of these lines that it depends where the lynx is. They're just talking very generally. They're not specifying, if the lynx lives in Montana or the whatever, then it's going to do one thing, and in Wyoming it'll do something different. We don't get that. C, it's difficult to test in a natural setting. Well, that may be true, but that's not what they said. That's kind of getting actually pretty close to D, where they said it's not evidence, but they just said it's not enough evidence. It doesn't mean that we'll never find evidence or that it's hard to find evidence. It's just saying we don't have the evidence. So difficult to test. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They seem to be testing all sorts of similar things in these passages. So I don't know. That doesn't seem right. But it's based on insufficient data. I mean, I didn't expect that to be the answer, but that's the answer. And so there you go. This happens. We've seen this on like usually like one question per SAT. It seems like this happens now. Like there's just the answer is that there is no answer. The answer is that we don't have evidence of something, or that the data in the graph does not prove anything. And so we have to be just okay with this uncertainty. This is happening. This is what you're being asked about, is the relationships between studies and conclusions. We see this in the math section all the time with the statistics questions, where you get one of those surveys and you're asked, like, what's the conclusion of the survey? And you're not allowed to make big assumptions, big leaps to get more specific of a conclusion than the exact conclusion that they told you. Same thing in reading here. We have to stick to what they tell us. And so they literally say, we have one example of a lynx getting eaten by a coyote. That's not enough evidence. So even though passage 1 is saying, here's this hypothesis we have, passage 2 would be like, that's not enough. You got to give me more examples. We don't have enough examples. So, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work for the last question, the 2 questions of the test. I hate when the evidence is right up against the end there. If you are totally running out of time on this double passage, like, you got like 2 minutes to do it, you got to make smarter choices than this. So you want to pick things like the vocab questions that are really going to be like much more provable and speedy. Find things with short line references. That's usually where to go. This has got us jumping all over. But yeah, it's in there. It's in the lines. So, if you do have the time, use the QLC method, narrow your focus, try to make sure you know what you're looking for, and you can at least eliminate some answers very quickly that just have nothing to do with what we're being asked. Yeah, it's something.